Jerens Rambo says, Morge, I don't know who Ludwig is. Should I? Yes, he composed some of our finest symphonies. Like 9 of them. And he was deaf or some shit. He was the Stevie Wonder of the olden days, basically. That's how you can think about Ludwig. Except I think it's more impressive to compose music. It's definitely more impressive to compose music being mostly deaf than composing music being blind. Because to be honest, I'll just say this right here. Stevie Wonder composing music when he's blind isn't that big of a deal when you think about it. Because it's like he's blind. He's got nothing better to do, right? At least make use of the one sense that you have. You know what I'm saying? I feel like a lot of blind people should be really good musicians. Because like, what the fuck else are they doing? They're not watching movies, that's for sure. Separate take. Anyway, Ludwig van Beethoven, one of the most impressive, artist things ever. Yeah, we got to power scale Caesar at this point, because at this point Caesar has a winning record, or at least an even record against Luffy at this point, right? Because he won the first fight, he lost the final fight, the second fight got interrupted. So he's got an even record against Luffy. He straight up beat Katakuri as far as I can tell. So at this point, he's got one of the best resumes out there, right? You just needed Caesar. That's all you needed. You just needed this guy. You didn't really need anybody else. Like, sure, you could throw Zoro into Whole Cake Island. It's like, oh, what would have happened? It's like, he would have slowed him down. Because really, at the end of the day, it's just him. That's all you needed. They heavily overcomplicated it. Like, this whole raid thing that happens, right? Look at all these bad guys. Right? Look at all these bad guys. And, like, it's a real pain trying to get away from there. For some reason. God knows what the reason is. Like, they treat it like it's the most desperate, difficult mission in the world. All these bad guys coming after them, taking the combined might of all of these Germa forces and stuff. Caesar flying away with Capone Beige, right? You got Caesar, Luffy throwing out Gear 4th and stuff like that. Turns out you don't really need any of that. You actually kind of just need, you mostly just need this, right? Whatever the fuck is going on in this panel, that's pretty much all you need, right? Like, it's just this. They didn't need to do all of this other stuff. Like, am I wrong? This whole bomb, completely unnecessary. What changes if Caesar just, why doesn't Caesar just do his gas stuff here? It's the exact same thing. Look, he runs into Katakuri, all right? He runs into Katakuri, and in this scenario, it's like, oh, fuck, it's all over. But here, it's like, fuck it, I'll take out Katakuri, I'll take out Ovid, I'll take anybody. It doesn't matter who's there, right? Because it's actually the exact same scenario. It's very literally the exact same scenario. Nothing changed. So what's the situation? We gotta save Germa. Germa's fucked, right? So that's situation A. Situation B is just the same thing, right? Which is that Germa's being held captive somewhere. Right? It's the same shit. Scenario B, right? Germa is being held captive, right? Scenario A, Germa is being held captive. Now, you might say scenario A has more people, but I don't think the number of people was that important to it, right? Because the method of escape doesn't really change, does it? Right, the method of escape, we already know the method of escape. It's just Caesar sprays some gas, right? Is there like a limit to how many people he can gas? I don't know. I don't feel like that was ever established. So here, they basically need a full arc, right? They need 30 chapters. Here, they basically need the span of one chapter. If you combine all of the cover pages together, it makes about maybe one chapter, maybe 10 pages at best or something like that. So it's pretty much the same thing. I think it's pretty bizarre that you get to the same result of this, right? With everyone flying away scot-free. You get to the same result, but with way less effort. The only difference, I guess, is Big Mom, but Big Mom's not even like the biggest problem over the course of this whole thing, right? The big problem over the course of this whole Tea Party scene was more so Katakuri, and like Capone Beige explicitly said that. He was like, he literally said at the start of the wedding, yeah, Katakuri is going to be our biggest problem because Katakuri can see the fucking future, right? That's the big issue that we're going to have here. Turns out, Capone Beige was wrong because when it really comes down to it, Caesar can solo Katakuri no problem. I can't think of like a comparable example where you give the exact same conflict, right? Saving Germa from Whole Cake Island, right? From under the watch of Katakuri. And it's the exact same solution, which is get Caesar and fly the fuck out of there. But in scenario A, it's like this whole giant mega arc that spills out of it. In scenario B, is just doing the same thing again, but it's way easier. What if they forgot Frankie at Enies Lobby? Imagine that. So they forgot Frankie at Enies Lobby. So the whole Enies Lobby arc ended. They beat up Lucci. They beat up all these guys. They escaped the Buster Call. The whole thing, it's done, right? They did the impossible, right? So they leave. But then they realize, oh, fuck, we forgot Frankie, right? Oh, fuck, we forgot Frankie. That's what they realize. And then they're like, well, we're not going to go all the way back. The Strahds are done. They're already on the way to the next island. So then the Frankie family's like, fuck it, we'll just go back. We'll get Frankie. So they get back to Enies Lobby. CP9's still there for some reason in this scenario. So they just beat up CP9 again. And then they leave with Frankie. But it all happens in like 10 panels. 10 cover pages. That's basically it. So this is the worst cover story I think ever, because I think like it's following up that Capone Beige cover story, which was arguably the worst cover story ever. But that cover story's crime was just being boring. This cover story's crime is basically just making all of Whole Cake Island look like a joke. It definitely makes Katakuri look like a joke, because I'm just gonna say, this is not the Katakuri I know. Is this Katakuri, or is this fucking Jack the Drought? Who are we looking at here? Is this Katarina Devon in disguise? Who is this guy? Imagine if like the final panel of this cover story, it's like, it's just Katakuri on his back again. It's just like the second man to have ever defeated me, Caesar Cloud. Virgil Hawkins says, Mork, if Luffy lost to Fox, you think Luffy would respect the rules? I think he would, plus I think he'd want a rematch, plus when's Wano's wid, plus hologram fan. Okay, so that's fitting a lot in there, but I think I can knock it out. So, I think Luffy would probably just want a rematch or something like that. It's weird. Would he respect the rules? I think he would, but it's just kind of crazy because it's like, think about it like this, right? Okay, so if Luffy lost to Foxy, and Foxy took Nico Robin, right? I think Luffy would actually respect those rules. They seem to be fine giving up Chopper in that sense, which is kind of crazy because the very next arc, the world government comes in and they're like, Robin, you're coming with us. And she's like, okay, bye, I'm gone, right? And Robin kind of leaves voluntarily in that sense, right? And the Strahds are like, nah, you can't do that. We're coming to get her back. So what's funny is if you think about it, if the world government, if CP9 had challenged the Strahds instead to, say, a Davy back fight, and won that, well then, in that scenario, maybe the Strahds would have been okay with giving up Robin, right? Isn't it kind of funny that like they were just okay with giving up Chopper, at least from what it looked like, one arc prior, and then the next arc, Robin's literally like, I'm gonna leave, bye, and they're like, no, we're not letting you leave of your own accord, right? We're gonna get to the bottom of this. They snooped around, they found out basically, okay, this is why she's leaving, we don't like the feel of this, blah, 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 right? Let's go to war with the entire world, just to get to the bottom of what's happening here with Robin. Okay, Robin wants to stay with us, she stays, right? But if it was just Cartoon Man Foxy or whatever who had won Robin in the Davy backfight, then they would have just been like, okay, I guess we don't have Robin anymore because we lost this bullshit game of like, I don't know, sailing around Donut Island or whatever. So, I don't know. It makes you think. Caleb Brown says, hey Morge, I just got CPR certified and there's a chance that I can resuscitate your hairline, but for real, I hope you're having a great day and staying healthy. Fuck you, my hair looks good. Okay, say what you will about my stuff, but it's not poorly lit. I mean, the lighting should be better, but it's more so that it's too bright. I have too many strong lights on my face. This is not the issue. We're gonna take this right off the list. Can you please identify yourself as your thing comes up on the list so that we can make fun of you for your bad choices? I want to know who thought that a ring light would be helpful, because I just don't know about that person. I would like to shame them a little bit. Tom says, like how you got someone else to build your PC? No, I'm very proud of that. I built this monitor. I built this PC. I built this PC on my own. Set it up and everything. Put the stand in, connected the HDMIs, put the power cord in. All me, 100%. It's not capped. I set up the monitor. I set up the compute, whatever you want to say. Set up the whole thing myself. Crash99 says, it's a monitor, not a PC. Well, nobody can actually build a PC. That's ridiculous. Unless you're like Alan Turing and his team of scientists from way back when, you know. Humans can't physically build computers by themselves. That's not a thing. That's why we have factories and machines that do it. It's not a by hand sort of thing, you know. What we can do is build monitors. A select few of us are capable of that, such as myself.